So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Radio Works World. My name is Dr. Gill Barham. I am the Miracle Molecule host for Radio Works World. And today I'm absolutely delighted to invite my guest from all the way from Norway, actually. I think you're my first Norwegian guest. It's Heidi Marja. Good morning.
Good morning, and it is so nice to be on your show. I have really looking forward to
We've waited quite a while, haven't we? We've scheduled it and rescheduled it, and then the line dropped, and we've had some technical issues this morning. Yeah. But we're finally here. The universe is lined up for us.
Yes.
And eventually things have worked out. But we're keeping smiling and keeping happy, which is the main thing.
Yes.
Okay, Heidi, so before we start my light-hearted conversation with you, which is actually all about you, I'd like you, first of all, to tell us, please, about your business. So what you do, what you love to do, what you're passionate about.
Yeah. I am a spiritual leader and a teacher, and I am teaching people to follow their heart and to do what they are meant to do in their life, and to not be afraid, but to choose love. And also I'm a healer and a media yoga instructor. So I really love to help people and to really get them to understand their inner power and the wisdom of when you connect to also the universe.
Wow, that's lovely, Heidi. And how long have you had your business running now?
I started this idea for 6 years ago, and I have worked with myself in the process as well, because I was really sick, and I went from bedside with fatigue and some other illness. And when I started the process to go in instead of out, to meditate and to really listen in, then I got the understanding of how also the universe, but also the body, soul, and spirit is connected. And when you are connected and in alignment with yourself, then everything is going to go. How can I say it? It's easier, and you get a more fulfilling life.
Yes. Absolutely, I totally agree. And, you know, I come at it from very much a kind of practical, functional nutrition point. And that was where, you know, all of my work has been around kind of looking at treating, building health rather than treating symptoms. But the more that I do the work, I realize that actually, the work needs to be done on me. The real growth is on myself. In order to be able to kind of facilitate and channel and help people to understand the very issues that you're talking about, that it's a combination of mind, body, spirit, soul, physical stuff. All of those things are put together that lead to this lovely sense of well-being. And of course, you know, that at the end of the day is what you and I think, are both passionate about. Would you agree?
Yeah. And it is so important to just use the energy that you have, because I'm really passionate about the chakras, and to understand how when you are not in alignment with your chakras, it's like they got blocked. And when you are blocked in all many chakras, the energy is not flowing the way they are going to flow, and then you're not doing what you are going to do. Because if you have something illness, or you have had a trauma as a child, or you has got some crisis or something, it's going to block your energy. And also we live in a really, really stressful environment, and people are not grounded.
No. I think we underestimate the effect of our 21st century living. And I think, you know, one of the things that we need to do, we're not here actually to talk about this today. I know you and I could probably get carried away about it. Yeah. But I have another show called The Vitality Show. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you back onto that show, and then we can talk some more about your work around chakras, and we'll have a fantastic discussion, I know. But today's call, before we get totally carried away, is actually all about you. So Heidi, I just want to explain a little bit about the background of the show and the kind of thoughts behind creating light-hearted conversations. So in the UK here, we have the longest running BBC radio show called Desert Island Discs, and it's on a Sunday. And it's, I don't know, 50 years old or something. It's been going for ages and ages. And the premises of the show is that I think they've only had 3 presenters in all that time. And basically what they do is they invite somebody onto the show from any walk of life. They could be scientists or actors or musicians or authors or, you know, evolutionaries, any walk of life at all. And they ask them to choose 8 records, music tracks that they would consider taking if they were sent or marooned on a desert island. Yeah. They're also allowed to take the Bible and the dictionary, and they're allowed to take 1 book and a luxury with them. So everybody gets asked the same questions, and then at the end they have to choose one of these particular tracks to take. And I love this show because it kind of opens up a whole new part of the person that's being interviewed, because you might identify them for the role that they play, or the book that they've written, or the science that they've been given awards for. But it's actually a little way to get to know the person a little bit more underneath what they've done or what they do. And I wanted to be able to create the same kind of platform for people of significance like yourself, who are making a real difference in the world, to be able to just get to know a little bit about you, on the basis that people are more likely to work with you if they know, love and trust you. Would you agree?
Yes, of course.
So just to say then that everybody gets asked the same questions. You're about my 48th interview, I think, something like 49. I'm nearly at the end. I think I've got 2 more to go. And I'm creating a book which is commissioned already, which will be out for the event, which I believe you're coming to in November. So you'll be able to see the book in November, called Light-Hearted Conversations with People of Significance. And everybody's entry is going into the book. But I don't know. I don't think you've listened to any shows before, have you?
No, I haven't. But I will listen after this.
Yes, well, that's fine, because I prefer it that you don't listen, because I want your answers to come very spontaneously. I don't want you to have thought about what I'm going to ask you. That's the whole idea of the show, really. So I'm very happy indeed that you haven't listened to any. So let's get going. Nothing's difficult here. It's all stuff that you'll know. So the first, I've got a couple of scenarios for you, and here's the first one. So Heidi, you're in a very nice city, in a very lovely hotel, and you're going up in the lift or the elevator to the top floor in the hotel, where there's a very nice restaurant. You're going for lunch. And as you get into the ground floor in the elevator and push the button, one other person gets in the lift with you. And as you're making your way to the top floor, unfortunately, the elevator breaks down between 2 floors. Now, there's some bad news and there's some good news. The bad news is that you get a call to say, I'm sorry, you're going to be in here for 2, maybe 3 hours. But the good news is that you have windows, so you're not going to get claustrophobic. And the other bit of good news is that you get to choose who that other person was that got in the lift with you. So of anybody that you know, or anybody that you know of, dead or alive, who is the person that you would like to spend 2 or 3 hours with to have a conversation about anything and everything? What would you like to know, and who from? Who would you choose?
I really want that to be Gabrielle Bernstein. I have met her once, and I think she's really interesting, and she is really inspiring. And I like how she's talking about being in love and be connected, and she has a charisma and a really beautiful energy, and I would love to have a heart-to-heart conversation with her about this subject about the heart. And yeah.
Lovely. Oh, that's brilliant news, and I'm glad you're saying about the heart, because we're gonna talk about the heart later on.
Yeah.
Okay, now Gabrielle is also hungry. She was going for lunch too. So what's going to happen is I'm going to magic you up a lovely table, and what with white tablecloth and chairs and cutlery and china and so on. And I'd like you to tell us what you would choose to share in terms of food and drink with Gabrielle as your guest. What's the food that you love to eat?
I really like to eat healthy, and I'm not good to do that at home. I don't eat so much healthy food yet, but that is what I'm trying to strive. Yes.
Towards,
so I would love to have a meal that is with much vegetable, and it is how can I say it? It is
it Norwegian?
Vegan food.
Yeah. Vegan food.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have many vegans in Norway?
I think so. But it is not so common.
No.
To talk about it.
No. Oh, to talk about it. Oh, okay, that's interesting, because it's very, very kind of popular here. Vegetarianism and veganism is much more talked about here, I think, possibly than in Norway. So you'd eat vegan food, and what do you love to drink? You can choose anything.
Water with or something sparkle, but I like water with what is lemon.
Water with lemon. Yeah. Okay, water with lemon. Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. I'm sure that you and your guest will have a fabulous time.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'd like to take you back to the 18-year-old Heidi. So, what were you doing at 18, Heidi? Where were you living? What was happening for you at 18?
I was living in this house because my mother has moved away, so I got this house.
The house.
Yes, I didn't find that right word, and so I was living here, and I was taking education in healthcare. I was going to be not a nurse, but the person that helps the nurses.
A care assistant, or
yes, a care.
Yes. I think we used to, when I was nursing, it was called an auxiliary.
Yeah,
but they don't call them that now. I don't know what they call them now. Care assistants, I think. I'm not sure, to be honest. I probably ought to know that. Okay, that was at 18.
Yes.
And just tell us where you live in Norway.
I live in a town called Tromsø in the North Norway.
In the north of Norway. Okay.
So you have to come because it is beautiful mountains, and in the summertime you see the snow on the mountains, and it's warm and good down. So it's really exotic.
Well, I mean, Norway is such a, it's unusual to meet people in the UK from Norway, but I do have a very lovely friend called Rigmor, who and her daughter. She has 3 lovely daughters, and in fact her husband, we used to play in a band together. Sadly, he died a few years ago now, but they took him to Norway, and and had a ceremony over in Norway for him. And they always send the most amazing photographs back of Norway. So I would really love one day to come to Norway.
Yes,
definitely. I think it's on my bucket list, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, so right, so 18. Oh yeah, now what music were you listening to? Talking of music, what music were you listening to at 18?
At 18?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening to hip hop and pop and Metallica, and so I was all around, and I was listening to so much different music.
A whole range. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Right, so now I'm going to take you. I don't know how old you are. How old are you?
39.
39. Okay. So in that case, can you share with us then what you were doing at 35? So what had happened to you to get to the 35? What was life like at 35?
It was I was lying in bed. I had now I have to find out. It's 4 years ago. Okay, I had started the inner journey. Yes, and I had started to the idea of building something for myself, a business.
And where had you been before that? Were you working for somebody else before that point? Is that what drove you to be so ill?
Yes, it was. I have had many things in life. It has been much sickness in the family. It has been crisis, and it has been my own illness, and I got something like pain in the hips, so I couldn't move, and I had to use strong painkillers. And I was working at that time as a social worker, so
strain and stress.
Yes, so I was not listening to my body, and it is many people that don't do that as well. So I didn't listen. I was just taking the painkillers to get through the day, and more and more painkiller because it was more and more pain. And it is like that when it's pain, you have to listen. It's pay attention in now. But I didn't do that.
No, and so many people don't.
No,
particularly women, because we think we're super women, don't we? And we just carry on with everything. And it happens to men too, but men just ignore it. Women know it's there, but we don't acknowledge it. Men just ignore it and hope it's going to go away. So you were at the start realizing that something needed to change at 35.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Heidi, in all the work that you do, and in all the conversations that I've had, is that I just kind of plucked 35 out of nowhere when I made up my questions. But for, I would say, probably 90% of the people that I interview, 35 is a very significant point in their lives for whatever reason.
Yes.
And it's really interesting to look back now that I'm doing the transcripts of all of the conversations that I've had, is that so many people at that point in their lives have either changed things or realized things, or something's happened to them, or they've made a significant breakthrough. It's really quite extraordinary. So you're not alone. So that was the beginning of your journey. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go any more into that, because I know that what we're going to be able to do at the end is allow people to connect with you, so that they can get the help that you've benefited from, because we've been in a very similar place. It was 5 years ago for me when my health really suffered, and went on a very, very similar experience, really, understanding that I needed to take care of myself. So we'll definitely come back to the end and allow people to connect with you, because I know that you've got some programs running and so and so. But for now, what I want to do is just to give you this next section is a quick fire question. Okay, so
yes.
they just fire a kind of an either or answer. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer the TV or the radio?
I prefer the TV.
TV. And do you prefer non-fiction or fiction?
Non-fiction, I think.
And okay, yes. Non-fiction. Yeah.
You have to explain what is the difference, because
so fiction are stories, so made-up stories, and non-fiction are
yes, then it's the right one.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm guessing personal development books, all those kind of things.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so non-fiction.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And are you the oldest, the youngest, or the middle child?
The middle child.
Oh, you're the middle child.
Yeah.
And when you were at school, particularly maybe when you were over 12, 13, were you the class clown?
No.
Were you a goody two-shoes? Were you under the radar, or were you a bit of a handful?
I was under the radar, and I was struggling with reading disorder.
Dyslexia?
Yes.
Dyslexia? Oh, okay. All right. And what would you say at the moment is your best habit?
It is my morning practice. It is when I'm sitting on my yoga mat and get the silence in my body. So I like to meditate, and I like to do the yoga in the morning.
Okay. And so what's your worst habit?
Oh, it is to take my phone and look at Facebook.
Too much time on social media.
Yeah.
I think my family would probably agree that I do the same thing as well. Okay, and what do you love to do to relax, Heidi?
Read a good book, or sit and look at the fire and fireplace. Yes. At the fireplace of our house, and just drink a cup of tea, and
just be. Okay.
Yes.
And now I mentioned this briefly, but my very first kind of passion is singing. So I studied singing, and I've always sung all my life. And so if I was on stage and I was to drag you up on stage with me, what would you choose to be your karaoke song to sing with me?
Oh, that was a good question. I like to sing as well, but I haven't. Yes, but I was singing at a choir when I was a child, and we were many times on the radio, and I have been in choiring in a cassette, and I have been singing on TV as well. So
wow, can I have your autograph?
But it was when I was a child.
Okay, all right.
Yes, it is. I have to. The first thing I was that came to me. It is that I'm. You see, my name is Heidi Marja, and I'm two. I have two. My father was Norwegian, and my mother is Finnish.
Oh, okay. Oh, saying that, look, we've got somebody from Finland saying hi. This is it Sirpas?
That is amazing that she is here. I was thinking of singing a Finnish song.
Yeah, hello Heidi and Jill from Finland, she says.
Oh, so nice.
She's watching. And she says meditation is the best open day, best start to the day. There you go.
Yes, it is. Really.
Thank you for joining us, Sirpa. Is it Sirpa? Did I pronounce it correctly?
Sirpa.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so what song are you going to choose then?
I think it is. It's a song about feelings, because I have written a book about feelings. Mm-hmm. It is called The Carousel of Feelings,
And who is it by?
It's about my
the song.
The song, I don't know who is, but it's from the Finnish side of Kalevala that was taken from Russia, and it is about how it's taivas on sininen ja valkoinen.
Okay, thank you. All right, brilliant. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I think you're going to have to be on your own with that one because I won't be able to help you, I'm afraid. But it doesn't sound like you need any help, so that's okay. No. Okay, so let's go to our second scenario. So a couple of years ago,
yes,
my husband and I, Peter, we travelled to America and we went for a month. Yeah. And we used a travel consultant who organised all our hotels and our flights for us. And it was wonderful because we just pitched up. We just had no stress whatsoever. We did 3,300 miles in 4 weeks. And we were together for 24 hours a day, apart from one day when Peter went off into the desert on a Harley Davidson motorbike. And the whole time that we were away, we didn't have one crossword between us. So my question to you is, if I was to offer you the same opportunity to go away without any stresses and strains, who would you take on holiday with you that you could spend a whole month with without having a crossword?
I think I would go with my husband.
Happy days.
Yes, I would go to, because we have talked about going to the United States, and I really want to go and explore the country, because my grandmother is buried in the US, and I really want to see where she is buried.
Okay, fabulous. And what's your husband called?
Kent.
Kent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know a Kent in this country. That's really... Yeah. Oh, Sirpa says, you speak Finnish. You can sing a Finnish song. There you go. Funny. Okay, so let's go back to the singing thing then. So I said to you already that this series is going to be made into a book with 52, one for every weekday of the year, every week of the year, 52 transcripts of the conversations that I've had. But what I'm also keen to do, in a kind of vein of Desert Island Discs, because I'm also creating a playlist. So everybody, all of my guests, get to choose one song to go on my playlist, and that song has to be one that makes you feel light-hearted. So what would you choose?
I really like to listen to I can't I have to really think, because I just listen and then I'm hearing it and I like it and I don't remember what
you don't know who it is,
who it is, or what the song is called. And
okay, well, your task then is to find it,
yes,
and post it underneath this interview so that people can listen to your music choice,
yes,
and then I'll be able to include it in my playlist. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, that would be perfect. All right, so we're coming to the end of our conversation, but the most important thing for me is really around the next question. So I think you know that I've written a book called The Heart of a Woman, How to Look After the Heart You Give to the World. My real passion is helping women to step into this wonderful sense of well-being and all the things that we've talked about. Mm-hmm. And from two different angles. One, from looking after themselves physically, but also emotionally, because the two things are very, very linked. So if you would you share with us, please, what you do to look after yourself from those two aspects, from a physical point of view, and then also from an emotional or spiritual point of view?
Yes, I do yoga, I meditate. And also I read books about spirituality, and also I go out to the nature as often that I can, because I really love to be outside, and then you get more contact with the earth and the sky and everything. So it is really important for me.
Yeah.
And also it is really important to be there with my child, my kids and my husband, and to really be, not do all the time, because I have been a doer all my life, and now I'm a beer.
A beer. How lovely. A beer. Yeah. I'm not a doer, I'm a beer. How many children do you have, Heidi?
I have 2 kids.
2. And how old are they?
My oldest is 15 years old, and my youngest is 10 on this Saturday.
Okay. Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes. Okay, so, and physically, so that's kind of an emotional side. I know that you're trying to work hard on your diet as well, aren't you? Yeah, so paying a bit more attention to that. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for sharing all of that. Now, this last question is all about a business again, really. So this is your opportunity to tell everybody what you're working on at the moment. So what's happening for you now within your business, what you're excited about, what can you share with us? And whilst you're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put your Facebook page up, because your website is all in Norwegian. So we discussed that we would put one of your Facebook pages up, your groups, so that people could link you there. But just while I'm doing that, tell us what you're excited about, what's coming up for you over the next 6 months or so.
I have started some courses, and I do some coaching, and I really like to help people to get grounded and to understand the power of the heart. And the people that has came to me, I call it the heart students, because they see the amazing things that's happening when they understand how to ground and how to really connect with their heart and do what they love. And I see a tremendous change from the first time I have had the clients, the heart students, and when it is 4 or 5 sessions, because they are so more, I have to do this and I have to, and I really love to see how they change and do what they really want to do in their life. Yes.
So that's a program. What's the program called?
I have called it. I haven't put a name on it yet, but I have called it from the heart, from the head to the heart. So it's people. Many people are in the heads and in the thoughts, and thinks that it is the thoughts that is me, or yes, it was what was my experience, that I was in the head and I was thinking the thought, and I thought that was me. And when I started to meditate and started to listening more and get more in contact with my body and listen to all the tension and get rid of them, and understand that it was when you live from your heart and not what the other people say that you are going to do, then you can live a more fulfilled life. And that is what I'm giving them the opportunity to understand, that when you go from the head or down to your heart, you have so much more to give, and you have so much more energy. And when you do things from the heart, it is amazing what is happening, because it's you are in the flow of doing, not doing to really struggling doing it.
Yes, and I what I see is that as you go on this journey, this is happening to me, is as you go on this journey and you become what you're truly meant to be, is sometimes that's uncomfortable for some people. and they try and keep you small or try and make you and mold you into the person that they want you to be. And it's very tempting, isn't it, to allow that to happen and for other people to have control over you. And it takes a brave person and somebody with confidence to be able to say, actually, do you know what? This is really me, and this is all of me, and here I am, and I know that not everybody's going to like me, but this is the true me, because living authentically, in my opinion, is one of the happiest states that you can be in, and accepting that actually this is your truth, and that you have every right to do that. Nobody has the right to have an opinion about you. You just need to live true to your own beliefs and your own ways. And your program is very important to be able to empower the people, the women. Do you work with women and men, Heidi?
Yes, both, because I think it's first I had think about the women, because it's
because you are one.
But I think it's really important for the men as well to do it, because we are not we have searched so much out, and we have found the universe, and we have found the planets, we have found everything, but now people understand that they have to go inside and to really connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such important work that you do, and actually I've nominated you for an award for the Radio Works World Stardust Awards. So those are coming up in November. So we're going to be making sure that you post your nomination so that people can vote for you, because it's really important that recognition is part of all of our journeys. Because if we're expecting to recognise the skills and talents that we have, then we have to be able to do that for ourselves as well. And to understand that recognition of what we give to the world is a really, really important part. So congratulations on your nomination. It's very exciting.
Thank you so much.
And I'm very happy to be able to nominate you for that. So thank you very much. We're going to post this far and wide, because I know it's 10 o'clock in the morning here, 11 o'clock where you are. So there are lots of people that haven't been able to see the show, but we're going to keep posting it so that people can look in throughout the day. Make sure that you connect with Heidi on Facebook, and or obviously if you're in Norway, then you can follow the links to the Norwegian site. Happy days. And I hope very much to see you in London very soon. Come over and join the Radio Works World event. So just to tell anybody that is going to be in London on the 18th and 19th, this is the most incredible event run by the Radio Works World founders, Marie and Darinani. And basically it's really one of the nice things about it is that they've invited some of the survivors of the Grenfell Tower disaster that we had about 6 months ago now. Because although some of their physical needs are being met by fundraising, of course, recovery from trauma, as we've already discussed, is much more than just the physical needs. It's also the empowerment and the inspiration. And so that whole weekend is going to be about workshops and people like yourselves being there to pay it forward, to empower those people that are going to be our VIP guests. They're the ones that are important on the day. And to be able to share with everybody, share the love and share that life can move on, and that there is hope for everybody, no matter what you've been through. Camilla's just saying hi. Hi, Camilla.
Hi, Camilla.
I'm doing Camilla's show. I think tomorrow, is it Thursday at this time, actually 10 o'clock the UK time, 11 o'clock your time. So I'm really looking forward to connecting with Camilla then. So thank you very much. Say goodbye to all our lovely listeners. Thank you very much
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everybody that is listening.
I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. Have you?
Yes, I have enjoyed it really, and it was so nice to get questions, because then it's easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. We'll connect real soon. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.